Hello everybody, Eric again. Like and subscribe. Here we go. Let's talk about Women Art Revolution. Women Art Revolution is the 2010 American documentary film directed by Lynn Hershman Leeson and distributed by Zeitgeist Films. It tracks the feminist movement over 40 years through interviews with artists, curators, critics, and historians. Synopsis. Women Art Revolution is a documentary film created by Lynn Hershman Leeson to examine the under-recognized world of feminist art. Through interviews, documentary footage, and artworks, the film tracks the trajectory of feminist art. It begins at the start of the 1960s with anti-war and civil rights protests. It follows developments in feminist and through art through the 1970s. Lynn Hershman Leeson interviewed artists, curators, critics, and historians for over 4 decades about their individual and group efforts to help women succeed in the art world and society by helping them overcome obstacles. There were over 40 individuals interviewed for the project. These interviews are done in a variety of places over time. The interviewees talk about their experiences in the art world, facing obstacles because of their gender. Many of the artists discuss the works they made as a result. The movie begins with a scene at the Whitney Museum of American Art, where Hershman asks people to name 3 women artists. Very few can name more than Frida Kahlo. Hershman calls the film the remains of an incident history that refuses to wait any longer to be told. She says the events of the day led her to feel an urgency to capture that moment and shoot whenever, wherever, with a barreled camera. The film gets its name from women artists in revolution, WAR, which formed in the 1960s as a correlation to raise awareness about the unique obstacles faced by female artists. Many of the issues started at the fundamental level. Rachel Rosenthal states in the movie, with the women artists not getting recognition in the study of art history and books. The interviewees all talk about how male-dominated the art world was sharing their personal stories. The work these feminist artists were creating at the time were very difficult from works shown or talked about at the time. The film overlays historical events with feminist art events, which were somewhat spurred on by these political events, such as the Vietnam War, Black Panther, Civil Rights Movement, women's liberation, and free speech movement. She labels the 1968 Miss America pageant as the moment when art and politics fused, culminating in a week-long protest of art masks. The film mentions that minimalism was the popular art style of the time, meant to be devoid of politics. This movement didn't match up with what was happening socially and politically. The feminist art movement worked to recognize contemporary political movements and social issues, creating a platform for awareness of these events. Cast. Interviewees: Janae Antoni, Howard Dita Pendow, Judith Backa, Levon Weiner, Judith Brodsky, Maura Wiley, Cornelia Connie Butler, B. Ruby Rich, Judy Chicago, Faith Ringgold, Mary Beth Elderson, Rachel Rosenthal, Howard Fox, Martha Rosler, Susan Grodd, Mara Ruth, Gorilla Girls, Elizabeth Sackler, Harmony Hammond, Mariam Shoshapuro, Elena Hess, Carolee Shoneman, Lynn Hershman Leeson, Larry Sims, Miranda Julie, Sylvia Slay, Mike Kelly, Nancy Spurrow, Joyce Kozloff, Marcia Tucker, Robert Kushner, Camille Alterbach, Suzanne Lacey, Cecilia Vicuna, Sheila Levant Del Brettville, Faith Welding, Lucia Lippard, Martha Wilson. Awards. 2010 Official Selection at Toronto International Film Festival. 2011 Official Selection at Sundance Film Festival, New Frontier. 2011, official selection at Berlin International Film Festival. Release. The film debuted at the Toronto International Film Festival, TIFF, 2010 as part of the Wheel-to-Wheel category. Women Art Revolution played at New York's IFC Center beginning June 1st, 2011, before opening around the country. Digital Archive. In the film, Hirschman states that the filming process has accumulated roughly 12,428 minutes of footage. And WA War shows only 83 minutes, leaving 12,343 minutes of footage out. A digital archive was created to contain the 2 decades of Hirschman and Leeson's interviews that went into creating this film, and is available through the Stanford University Library's collection. WAR, Voices of a Movement. According to the collection website, Hirschman Leeson desired the repertoire to be shared with as wide an audience as possible. Reception. Barry Keith Grant praises the film. In his film International Peace, Leeson's film is a like patchwork quite of desperate footage, but in the end, it all comes together to become an important feminist work. The film could well serve as required viewing for art and film students today. Reviewer Ellen Drada says this powerful film will ignite even the tiniest spark of feminist in any woman's heart. Not only art lovers will come away with a deeper understanding of the movement, an appreciation for those who stood up and paved the way. Richard Knight for the Windy City Times has a more critical view of the film, explaining Hirschman Leeson's succeeds in her goal to expose, impact, and pique the interest of the viewer to the radical feminist artists who use activist tactics to get their work shown, demanding parity with their male counterparts. However, by the time queer film historian B. Ruby Ridge starts talking about how the lesbian artists didn't want to identify as artists because that label was considered bogus by their female counterparts, the movie has taken on an exclusionary air of its own. Just like those women-only coffee houses that existed back in the day. So while the film undercuts some of its own arguments by veering too strongly into the very separatist direction it decrees, and annoyingly overlooks the artist's feminist forebears like O'Keeffe, Nelson, and Kylo, for example. Women Art Revolution does offer plenty of food for thought for everyone. Elizabeth Sovereign states that fusing history with memoir, Len Hirschman Leeson enlists multiple visual strategies to produce an elegantly layered visual and sonic web of politics and powerful emotion. Bye for now.